Thank you for tuning into Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Mezco Marvel's Black Panther. Today, I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once those scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So I've had this in my collection for some time now. Just due to scheduling, I have not had the time to do a review. So I'm pretty excited to get this out of the package and go through all 6 categories. So for accessories, the maskless head sculpt, in my opinion, looks really good. This is perhaps one of the best head sculpts that I have seen for Chadwick Boseman, especially in 6-inch scale. Also think Mezco did a really good job of capturing the Black Panther helmet. So much detailing throughout. Not sure if you can see what looks like fibers on the inside. You should be able to see it. It looks really good. The hands are also done well. It's texturing throughout. And silver paint that's not bleeding onto the black. That looks very good. So we receive a shield. I believe this was in the movie. Not 100% sure, so I will not say that it was. But it's done very well. There's actually texturing throughout. So what looks like texturing truly is, there's a pattern of different colors throughout. There's a silver, I guess, ball in the middle, and the pole is running through. When you turn it on the other end, there's an area for him to place his forearm and his arm through. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming that's what it's for. In addition, we get this weapon, also done very well with the texturing here. And the silver paint, again, looks good. But this one here, I'm really impressed by this accessory. So in terms of accessories, if you are comparing Black Panther to a Punisher, you can say that we don't receive a lot. However, Black Panther isn't the type of character that comes with a wide range of gadgets and or accessories. So what we receive, in my opinion, is a fair amount of stuff. We receive a masked head sculpt, which looks phenomenal in my opinion. We receive a maskless head sculpt, which really captures the portrait of the actor, Chadwick Boseman. In addition, we have 8 pair of hands, 2 fisted, a few reaching hands, and we have 2 hands to hold the weapons in. For those hands, we do receive 2 weapons. And last but not least, we receive a stand and base. So while this isn't a lot of accessories in terms of volume, it is enough for this particular figure. A few things which maybe could have raised the bar, and I'm not saying that Mezco should have included these things, perhaps a blend between the faceless and the masked head sculpt, sort of showing the nanonite starting to form around the mask, or perhaps showing a damage mask. And it wouldn't have hurt to throw in a few additional hands, maybe something that had particular gestures on them. So for accessories, I'm giving Black Panther an 8 out of 10. So for articulation, the head is able to move up that far simply because it's connected to one ball peg. The neck itself doesn't move. You only get movement out of the head. So that's all you get. As far as being down, it's able to look all the way down. It's able to get a good amount of pivot as well as rotate full 360. So now the arm is able to move up way far. That is excellent for a figure that's surrounded in cloth. This is as far as I would push the arm, again, because it is in cloth, but it feels like it can go completely around. But that amount of movement is also excellent. You do get rotation here at the shoulder. There is a upper bicep swivel. The elbows are double jointed, bending in that far. That is good. We do get rotation at the wrist as well as pivot. Moving on to the torso. The torso is able to move back that far just using the upper part of the torso It's able to move forward that far just using the upper. Using both upper and lower parts of the torso, the figure is able to move back that much, forward about that much. You do get a good amount of rotation as well as pivot. There's also a swivel at the waist, turning about that much and about this much. The legs are able to separate about this much. I would want more separation from Black Panther, but again, I realize that this is a figure surrounded in cloth. The leg is able to move up about that far. Again, I think Black Panther is one of the agile figures, so I would want more movement. And sadly, the leg only goes back about that much. So we do get rotation at the upper joint of the leg. We do get double jointed knees bending in about that much. He can kick his own tail. And no rotation at the boot. We do get rotation at the foot. It's able to lift up that much, lift down, and also a good amount of pivot. So I think Mezco did a phenomenal job with articulation on this figure. What's important to remember is that this is one piece. So it's not like a figure such as Popeye to where you have a separate shirt, a separate jacket, and separate pants. This is all one piece coming from some part of the ankles all the way up to the neck. So to get that amount of range is impressive. So for articulation, there are a few points that could have been better. There are no butterfly joints. And also I would have liked to get a little more range in the upward momentum of his legs. So for articulation, as well as his head, excuse me, too. So for articulation, I'm giving Black Panther an 8 out of 10. So on the design part, I didn't talk much about this particular head sculpt, but it is phenomenal. The paint that they use for the brown eyes just really looks well. And I'm very happy with the skin tone. A lot of times on Black individuals, the skin comes off a bit shiny. Not on this particular figure, it is done well. So for design, Mezco killed this thing. If you can see the texturing throughout the suit, the gloves, the helmet, the paintwork is ridiculously clean. And one of the issues that I have with Mezco sometimes is their stitch work. A lot of times it's sloppy. However, you really don't see too much stitch work on the side. And when you do see it, it's clean. They put the stitch work in the back. It's uneven, but I don't care about that. So this is one of the better figures that I have seen when it came to stitch work, overall texturing. So for design, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. So is Black Panther essential to your collection? If you are an Avengers fan, the answer is yes. And I'm going to even go outside of Avengers and say that that answer is yes. Aside from Mezco, we do have Marvel Legends, which have a wide variety of Black Panther figures. And aside from Marvel Legends, Bandai has a figure. Aside from these companies, I don't think there's another 6-inch Black Panther. So if you decide to pass on Mezco, you do have an opportunity to pick him up somewhere else. But this is the only version that you'll get at this point in soft goods, and it's worth it. So I'm going to say, as far as being an essential part of your collection, this is a 10 out of 10. So for functionality, the head pops off easy enough and pops back on very easy. The hands also pop off easy enough and pop back on very easy as well. So I like that. So I mentioned that there is no butterfly joint. There's something here. I wouldn't consider it a true butterfly joint, but you do get some movement in and out a little bit. Jumping from the shoulders all the way down to the ankles. This ankle turns very well. This one, I don't get the same amount of movement. Not sure if I can maybe heat that up. I don't want to keep twisting it because it's really not bending that much. I'm trying to angle it down and turning it out, but it doesn't bend in as much as this one does. So just something to note. It may just be my figure, or it could be on a few others. So I took the liberty of placing the weapon inside of this hand. It went on very easy. Use the wide part simply to go in the hole and then just shifted it up. I was scared at first that this part may not fit. However, the fingers are pretty loose and you can actually remove the thumb so it's easy to wrap it around. So I truly like that. Now, as far as this accessory, the way that it looks is that it goes on the arm. So I'm just going to detach this hand. I am going to put the larger piece around the arm, and I'm going to attempt to get the fist to come out of this lower part. Now, I didn't read that there are no instructions, so forget me reading the instructions. I don't know for sure if this is how it goes. I know I see this design with a number of Hot Toys, and this is typically the way that it's done. And then you attach the hand like so. I can tell you now I'm not going to be able to do this on camera, so I'm going to go off camera and I'll come back. All right, so I was able to get it. I'm experiencing the same problem with this as I do with the Hot Toys, which is simply the peg isn't long enough, so it's not protruding out enough. Now, I'm not sure if you even need to push it through that first part. You can just push it through the larger hole and attach the hand like so, and it should give you close to, not really, because I can see how it's flopping around a little bit. So yeah, the second strap should have had a larger opening. You know what I haven't tried yet? Let me actually, instead of doing it this way, right? Let's see if I could put the hand. Nope. Maybe if I use a fisted hand. No, it doesn't want to go through either. So what should have been done? And there are a number of things you could have do. Simply, this could have been larger, or Mezco could have had a hand already. Actually, now that I'm thinking about this, I think that's what it's meant for. So being that the weapon grabbing hands are so loose, I'm assuming that you can pry back the fingers and actually get it around that part. So let me make an attempt to do so. So that's exactly what you're supposed to do. So Mezco provides you with a hand that you can pull the fingers apart and simply wrap it around the loop. Good job, Mezco. Now, personally, I wish that Mezco would have provided a hand that's already attached to this. The reason being, you only have one hand, one right hand that you can actually open to get to fit around each weapon. And I think by opening the fingers to go around this strap, or open them to go around this, eventually is going to cause them to lose some grip. So something to be wary of in the long haul. So just to give you a quick look of what it looks like attached, that's how it's supposed to go. And you can fold it or do what you need to do with this particular guy. There we go. Now, one thing to note, and I'm not knocking points off from Mezco, it would have been very cool if the necklace around his neck was held in place by a magnet. This way you had the option to remove it and use it for an additional accessory if you chose to. Considering the suit and everything about this figure, I was real close to giving it a 10. However, for functionality, I'm going to give it a 9. So Black Panther comes in priced at $80, and that's before shipping. I believe I was able to snag mine for a deal, maybe at $75, and that included shipping. So is he worth the price of admission? So let's see what he comes with. In terms of sheer accessories, he does not come with a lot. However, in my opinion, he does come with enough for who he is. The high points of this figure is truly the suit. The suit is phenomenal. It's one of the best, in my opinion, that Mezco has done so far. And to consider that this is a one-piece suit and we're able to get the amount of articulation that we are able to get out of this character, it's also a step ahead of with their engineering. So as far as pricing, I'm going to give this guy a 10 out of 10. And if you passed on him, I'm actually seeing him priced at $65. So now you're able to get this at a discounted price. So is he a pass or a purchase? By now, I think it's pretty clear that this is absolutely a purchase for me. I feel that Mezco has been doing a phenomenal job, truly at the tail end of 2018. With some of my last year purchases with their Popeye and Iron Man, I feel that Mezco truly just propelled themselves forward, and that is continuing into 2019. So that will give Black Panther an overall Cliff score of 57 out of 60. So here's Black Panther by itself. Here's Black Panther next to Marvel Legends Blade. And here's Black Panther next to Mezco's very own Darkseid. So I'll be shooting a Mezco DC video going through all of the DC characters that I've purchased from Mezco so far. Not exactly sure when this will be coming up. My next Mezco video will most likely be Darkseid or the Ghostbusters. So just stick around. So as always, I want to thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you during the next review.